Hey everyone, it's Laura Van Veen here with Excel Realty, I'm part of the Van Veen team, and welcome back to Watching Real Talks. Thanks for tuning in. We're getting some really good engagement on these videos, and I'm having a lot of fun doing them, and I'm hoping that we're keeping you guys informed. So today, I actually got a Facebook notification on a big post I had done 1 year ago today. And it was a post that I had done about gratitude. And it sparked me thinking that, hey, I should totally vlog about gratitude. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Today's vlog is about mindfulness and gratitude and how it can help you in real estate. All right, so it's a huge topic right now, mindfulness. In fact, we've got Time Special Edition. I've read this like a bazillion times in the bathtub. It's all crinkled. There's all kinds of different material out there about mindfulness. And what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is a whole bunch of different things all kind of put into one. So it's all about the laws of attraction, making sure we stay present in the moment, and of course gratitude, which you guys will see me hashtag all the time, gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And it's something that I kind of have taken on in my life personally, and I have tried to make it a part of my everyday life. So we'll talk about a little bit about that. But before we do, you guys are probably going, okay, well, how is that going to, like, this is a real estate vlog, right? So how does this relate to real estate? So there's a few things that really having kind of a mindfulness attitude, how it affects real estate as well, and how it's going to affect your transaction in real estate. So the first thing is that when you start practicing mindfulness and you start putting a positive foot forward in everything you do, you'll find out that you'll end up in a better financial state than you're currently in. This just kind of happens naturally. As soon as you start thinking positive instead of negative, instead of thinking, oh, I don't have enough money to pay the bills, we go, oh, next month, look, everything looks great and our bills are all paid. Just changing the way you think is going to help attract a more abundant life. And it's so true. I'm sure you guys have seen all kinds of people attest to this. So it can put you in a better financial state. So that's the very first thing, which is always good for real estate, because then, hey, you guys can invest more and earn more, and it starts to snowball. The other thing is it puts you in a much healthier mental position for making really critical life-changing decisions. So a healthy mind is going to make a clearer, more confident decision, which confidence is huge when you're dealing with real estate and when you're dealing with the biggest transaction of your life, right? So, I mean, you want to make sure that your mind is in a good mental place before you do it. There's nothing worse than trying to sell a house or buy a house when you're not in the mental space to be doing it. The other thing is that it's going to help you deal with stress, and moving and selling a home and purchasing a home is one of the top most stressful things that you can do in your life. So you want to make sure that you've got the coping mechanisms to be able to deal with that stress. So that's going to help you out as well. And the last thing is clarity of what you want. When you start living a life full of mindfulness, you start to really peel back the layers and figure out exactly who it is you are and how you want to live every single day and stay within the moment. And if you have a clear idea of what you want as a person, then you're going to have a clear idea of what you want in your home. Maybe you're a minimalist at heart. Maybe you're not. Like I am not a minimalist at all, and I practice mindfulness, and a lot of mindfulness mentors and stuff will preach minimalism. I'm not that. I love to have attachments to items. Almost everything in my house is from my family. They're all heirlooms and things like that. Anyway, so minimalism can kind of come into it, but you might figure out that, hey, I really am attracted to the water. My dream is to be in a place in the water, even if it's like a 1-bedroom shack, or maybe I want to go and, get a place, a little cabin in the woods somewhere. You might completely change your life. So it's good to kind of know exactly who you are and where you're at and how you want to live before you start investing in real estate. So I told you that I would give you a little bit of my personal experience with this. So mindfulness to me is kind of something that I have to constantly be thinking about and constantly be making an effort to do. It's not something that comes naturally to me at all, because I am kind of a crazy type A person. I like to have everything a certain way. I have very high expectations. These are things that I know about myself. So for me, I was always thinking, 10 steps ahead. And my husband will always kind of jokingly say like, oh, like this is what it's like to be with a Van Veen woman, because we're always thinking and always kind of going to the next step. And so it's something that I had to kind of start to really process in my own way. The other thing is that I am an extreme empath. When people bring me feelings, I feel them as if they're mine, and I take that on a lot. I can be a little bit emotional. I can be somebody who, if somebody's really angry, then I take on their anger and I'm like in there with my guns. And that's just something that I've come to recognize with myself. And so for me, mindfulness was a key to protecting my own emotions and learning how to isolate different people's emotions from mine. That doesn't mean that I can't be empathetic towards them, and that I can't be sympathetic towards them, and that I can't help them, but it's protecting my own self so that I don't wear those things and I don't end up getting in a bad mental place myself. And so what do I do for my personal experience with it, and how has it changed me? So what I personally do is I always keep a gratitude journal. We'll talk about that in a minute. I try, and again, I come in and I'll forget about it for a while. You get out of routine and then you got to get back into it. I also take walks all the time. If you're in Chatham, you'll see me walking up and down Victoria Ave like 3 times a day. And that kind of gives me my second to refocus and recenter. When I'm going to a showing, I'm constantly at my wheel when I'm driving. I'm saying thank yous. I'm saying, putting my gratitude out to say thank you for, for sending me this client to work with. Thank you for finding the house for them. Thank you for giving me the guidance, giving me the knowledge to be able to provide for these people. In my own personal life, oh my gosh, so much gratitude towards my family. On a personal level, I struggle with a illness. I have type 1 diabetes. And so it's very difficult for us to have a biological child of our own. And I'm so beyond grateful that it became a reality for us when we had my daughter. Not through any kind of crazy miracles or anything. It was through hard work and a lot of positive thinking and a lot of positive energy. The other thing for me with it is I feel like mindfulness for me is also being physically active. You don't have to be a bodybuilder or anything, but being out there, getting active every single day, I'm in a much better mental state if I am out there and I take a walk first thing in the morning. And I'm going to feel better myself. So it's a physical health. It's also what we eat. It's what's going in your mouth. It's everything. So that's kind of my personal experience. How it's changed my life. Oh my gosh, let me count the ways. Weight is one thing. It was as soon as you start kind of changing your life and you take out the things that are negatively holding you down, then a lot of times, I struggled with working out a lot, but I would still gain weight and things like that in my late 20s. Now it's just natural. It's pretty easy to maintain because I'm just living a healthier lifestyle, because it's what I try to practice within my mindfulness, is being mindful of what's going in my mouth, being mindful of making sure I'm getting my exercise. And being happy is going to help you with that. The other thing is, so financially, actually 6 years ago, like I was in a very bad spot. I was in a place where I was going through a separation and I had to sell a house, and we had just paid a big chunk of money for a big event, and it was awful. And I was at the point where I was literally considering bankruptcy, and here I am 6 years later and we're completely financially free. Again, through hard work and through positive thinking. And that's really important. So financially, it has been huge for me. And then the other thing for me, I think, is just when I am practicing mindfulness, just my family's happier in general. I'm happier, they're happier, we're going out, we're being silly, we're enjoying the moment, and things are great. So that's kind of my personal experience. All right, so you've heard my rant. And so now, how do we start? What do we do? If you guys have never, like if you're like never online or something and you've never seen anything about mindfulness or gratitude or about the power of positive thinking, these are some basic things for what you can do. And I've kind of made some changes as to how I practice it, so you guys can hear my side of it. So number one, my first thing is write it down. You want to write everything down. So if you ever go out for a showing with me, or a pre-list appointment where I'm coming to appraise your house, you're probably gonna see me with this like pink beat up binder, and it's beat up because it's getting used. And inside my binder, you're gonna see like my notes for, my marketing, my notes for my showings, and all my stats, because as a realtor, you should keep your stats. But you're also gonna see in between those things, cute little doodles and drawings, and it's gonna say, today I'm grateful for. And I try to take pause when I ever have some time. If I'm going to go get a coffee or get lunch, then I'm writing down what I'm grateful for in between writing down what I have to do for that day. Because it doesn't have to be, a giant every day I sit down and journal for an hour. It could be 10 minutes, or it could be just saying it out loud and being like, oh, I'm so grateful that my husband brought me coffee this morning. It could be just as simple as that. But if you write it down, you're going to start noticing more and more what you actually are grateful for and how great your life is. So it's a good thing. It's kind of basic, number one. The second thing that I have is give it away. So you've got all of this gratitude in your heart. You've been writing down everything you love. Now, don't keep that for you. Give it away to everybody. So actually, like when I was going through my giant life change, I started a little page that was 360. It was called 365 Giving Tree Project, and what it was is every single day I posted something for a year about how you guys could be more gracious and how we could give back to people in small ways. So give it away. You can give it away by giving a random compliment to somebody. Hey, you like their purse? Tell them. Like, why keep that to yourselves? Hey, your hair looks awesome today. You know what? Or like you did such a great job in your ballet recital. Or oh my gosh, I really love all the pictures of you and your family. You look like you guys are such good parents. Whatever you're thinking, give it away. Give it away, and then it's going to make you feel better. It's going to make them feel better as well. And also say thanks all the time. Constantly say thanks for everything that comes up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're Canadian. Let's get back to saying thank you. And now the other thing that I have to say is with that is it doesn't always have to just be saying something. It can also be an act of kindness. So, buying someone their Tim Hortons, or just putting a bowl out of water for dogs that are walking down the street, or little things can go a long way, right? So, that's what I have to say for number two. Let's see, the third one. Oh, this is something that this is one of the ones that I get off the bandwagon on sometimes, and I always have to kind of remind myself and give myself a breather in life so I can get back to it. But number three is, when something bad happens, try not to sit on the bad. Try not to kind of soak all the bad in. Instead, stop yourself. And what I try to do now is I try to think of 3 to 5 really good things that happened that day. Because usually one bad thing happening, there's a gazillion good things for one bad thing usually. So think of all the good that happened that day to try to erase it out of your mind quickly. Because if you sit there and you dwell on that bad, then what's going to happen is that's going to grow and grow and grow. And when you're focusing on the bad, guess what that's attracting? It's attracting more bad. You hear all the time that bad things come in, horrible things come in threes. And it's true, because you have one thing bad happen and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to survive? This happened. And then all of a sudden another bad thing happens and you're like, oh my gosh, my life is awful. My furnace broke and my car wouldn't start this morning. And then the third thing hits and it's like, oh my gosh, and I slipped and fell on the ice and now my back is sore and how am I going to get all this done? And it just keeps going and going and going. But say the first thing that happened, what did I say? Furnace broke. So your furnace breaks, you go, oh, Well, oh my gosh, okay, yeah, that's hard, but you know what, guys? We got an awesome family. Let's go over to the family's house today. Let's make it a family day. We'll call a furnace person in, and we're gonna go have a great day at grandma's. Guess what? Day off. Like we have to deal with this instead, and so awesome. So we're gonna go spend time with family. We're gonna have a good meal. We're gonna play some games. Done. Right? So then you're taking that negative and you're tucking it aside and said, "Yep, I'll deal with it, but this is happening instead." So that's my next thing. Think of good when bad things happen. Next thing is staying present. Oh, this is the struggle. The struggle is real here. Stay in the present. If your mind is wandering, then you're going to have to refocus. So staying in the present is really hard for me because I'm somebody who loves to plan. I'm somebody who loves to always have a goal. I'm pretty competitive, and I like to kind of always know the next step in my life. So this is hard. So what I try to do myself is, this is where my walking comes in, is I try to leave the phone at home for 20 minutes, go outside, go for a walk. And what I do is, if my mind starts to wander on, okay, what do I have to do when I get home? I'll stop and think, this is a tree. That's the grass. There's my neighbor's house. And I just think of like really kind of just blatant in front of me things that I'm recognizing. You can think about how the air feels. Oh, it's a little chilly today. Bring yourself back into the present moment. And then that's going to train your brain to kind of fall back into this staying right here thing. So now this is something that I can't do all the time, because especially in a career of real estate, you need to be thinking of the next step always. You always have to be moving forward. However, it is something that I try to take at least 3 to 5 moments every day and go, okay, this is where I'm at right now. This is what's happening. We're sitting here in my body. This is how I feel. And this is how things are gonna, this is how I can get myself in a place where I'm very happy, feeling calm, and I can go and do my best work and do my best day as well. Okay, so that's the next one. Number 5. Oh, everybody talks about meditation. Like, oh, meditation is the holy grail, right? It's the holy grail of mindfulness. It's the holy grail of gratitude. It's something that everybody should be doing for your health. I totally agree, but like to sit and go blank, I have the hardest time with. So for me, I put down, instead of meditation, I put find your meditation. Your meditation might be having a bath every night and sitting and just feeling the water, and then going to that, pulling back your mind on what you're doing. Can you absolutely go, sorry, my dog's coming. Can you go, into a state of total blankness and find like your inner peace? I don't know. I don't know if you can. I'm sure some people can. It's really difficult for me. So my meditation, 2 things: having a bath and going for a walk. Just 2 things that root me to nature. Lots of times we'll go into the woods, a place where you're totally silent, and a place that's your meditation, your kind of safe space. Number 6 is don't project what will be. So a lot of times sometimes you'll come home and you'll be like, all right, I had this really bad feeling that this is gonna happen. Like, oh, I had a really bad day at work, and so, oh my gosh, like, what if this happens and this happens and this happens, and I end up being fired? And you've just made this whole scenario in your head about something that wasn't even, materializing. And what happens is, when you project those things and when you forecast those things, they're much more likely to happen. In the real estate world on this, I see this all the time, where people will be like, oh my gosh, my house, this house is never gonna sell. Oh, I don't know how, I'm never gonna find a place. I'm never. We hear it all the time. And I stop them and say, no, positive thinking. Your house is sold. It's not even going to sell. It's sold. It's gone. Positive thinking. I'm so happy you found my dream house. No, it's not going to, because if you project that it's not going to, it's going to make it a gazillion times harder to. Everybody's going to feel that energy, and it's going to it's going to attract away what you actually want. So take that worry out. Stop projecting what's going to be. Nobody knows what's going to be. So allow yourself to sit and go, positive only. Take that right out of your mind. The last thing that I have is live independent, not codependent. Most of us have partners, most of us have family and children, and codependency is not the same as being in a partnership. Codependency is when your partner is sad or angry or anything, you automatically are that as well, and you're feeling that, and that's part of that empath thing, and you guys depend on each other to get through everyday situations. Independence doesn't mean that you can't have a partner who you love and adore, and you guys are building a life together and doing things. All it means is that your happiness is not dependent on their happiness. Of course, I want my partner to be happy all the time, but if you wear everything that your partner's feeling, good or bad, it becomes an entanglement that your identity is starting to then get latched in together, and that is never a healthy place to be. So codependent, independent. You want to be on the independent side, and that doesn't mean that you don't care about them or that you don't have sympathy for them when they're in a bad situation. It just means that you are protecting yourself and that you love them and adore them. You want to build a life together, but what they're feeling doesn't have to be exactly what you're feeling, because it can take away from your own mental health and your own place of happiness. So that's kind of my little tips on this one. So I know this is a little bit of a stray from the kind of factual vlogs that we have, but I thought it was really important. It's something we believe in. It's something that I try to put out there all the time in my clients, is that be positive, be grateful, be happy, and everything will work out. Everything always has a purpose and a reason. And so go out. If you guys are starting to do some mindfulness stuff, look up some pins, look up there's all kinds of literature out there. I really loved this one. They come out, I think, every 3 months or so. The Time Magazine mindfulness editions. Anyways, really cool stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this, a little bit different, pass it along. Hey, and guys, put in your comments what you guys might think about mindfulness. Do you guys do a gratitude journal? Maybe put down in there, what you guys do, because maybe there's something that we can benefit from seeing those comments, everybody who's watching, and say, hey, I do this for my mindfulness meditation, or this really works for me, and hopefully it'll work for someone else too. So anyways, that's about it. I hope you guys had a good time watching, and as always, keep enjoying Chatham Kent.